The truth will set me free. I don't care much about truth.
What book has inspired me or my soul the most? My book, Dreamseller, was not my idea to write. I had no desire to write a book, no intentions of becoming an author. I was a high school dropout without a GED. But what had happened was I had read this book that was recommended to me. Kingman was the team captain for Element skateboards, and he handed me this book, and the book was called A Million Little Pieces. And when he gave me this book, he's like, Novak, I think you're gonna dig this. I took the book and I read it, and I couldn't put it down. And if anyone out there has read that book, you know how detail-oriented the book was. Like, I felt like I was him, and I was walking in his shoes, and he created and painted such a clear picture that I could relate to. And it was around that time that we were filming Viva La Bam, and every time we were finished filming for the day, the cast and the crew, we would wrap and we would go into town to a bar, and we'd have dinner, and there'd be a table of 40 in a loud bar, and there'd be drinking and eating. And Bam was always really fascinated with the stories of my addiction and the places and the positions that it landed me in. So he'd always be like, yo, tell this story, tell that story. And I would be telling these stories, and at a table of 40 in a bar, you could literally hear the pin drop. So Bam one day came up to me and said, you know what, you're gonna write a book. And again, at this time, I have no diploma, I have no GED, I don't know about writing books, but I had read a book that inspired me immensely, A Million Little Pieces.
Glad I could be of service.
And as a matter of fact, he handed me a notebook and a pen. He said, you're gonna carry this around 24/7. He said, the first time that I see you without a pen and paper in your hand, you're going back to Baltimore. You're kicked out of the house, you're off the show, you're done. The scales of justice were very easy to figure out there. So I said, okay. I penned out 12 chapters in my story, the way that I wanted to write it. And when I was finished, about a year later, I took the book to Bam and I said, I think I'm finished. And he read it and he said, wow, like there's really something here. In turn, he took that and he gave the book to my co-author, Joe Franz. Joe Franz turned 12 chapters into 23 chapters.
Brandon's story is a cautionary tale inspired with moments of hilarious despair. You can't make this stuff up.
Funny story, in the interim, I was able to recover James Frey, who's the author of A Million Little Pieces. I was able to find his phone number. Someone gave it to me, and I called him in hopes to get some advice while I was writing my book. He never called me back, like, nor would I to someone. And I get tons of calls. I'm working on a book, and I'm like, fuck, okay. I wasn't working on mine when I wrote it. It was more of a requirement. It wasn't a desired thing that I was doing. So don't worry, James, I never held that against you. As if he's watching. But we got a literary agent who shopped the manuscript around, and as fate would have it, the publishing company who purchased the manuscripts, Kensington Publishers, Citadel Press, happened to be the same publishers as James Frey's book, A Million Little Pieces.
The Million Little Pieces controversy really freed me to be as radical as I want, to break every rule I want, and to not have to care what other people thought. It was great.
Writing that book literally changed the trajectory of my life. So it's crazy how things come full circle. But on the off chance that you're watching this, James Frey, A Million Little Pieces, thank you. You've not only changed my life, but you've changed, I believe, countless others that you're probably never going to be aware of. So thanks for asking what books have changed my life.